Past that sad news, we're going to go into our next segment of Paperback Mountain.
Paperback Mountain!
Paperback Mountain! I didn't have much that I could bring to the table because I don't read very often. So yay! So
you did.
I'm gonna,
you did.
Well, I did, but I didn't get too far.
You read in Blanketsburg.
I did. I was reading in Blanketsburg, the fort that I am still in. So night 3 will be probably more reading. But essentially the only thing I could come up with that I wanted to ask Jenna today is, do you read books from the New York Times bestseller recommended list? And is it bullshit?
I do not. I think it's bullshit.
Well, don't like most people like, oh my god, it's on the list, I have to buy it.
Oh my god, it has a sticker on it. Okay, there are so many other great books out there.
How do they get the sticker? Is it just because everyone's buying it?
What happens, I believe, is don't get me wrong. I totally read books that have medals, and so my mom's funny like this.
Okay.
So she does see and is like, oh my god, it got a blah 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 award, and then she'll buy it.
Okay.
Oh, it's on the New York Times bestsellers. Cool. Like, I don't actively go to that section to find a book. If it has it on there because it was like that before, not a big deal. But
sorry, I'm typing for a second. Bestsellers. Okay. Yeah. Continue.
So with that being said, I do go to the bookstore and get books off of their covers.
So is that really like your mainstream of going and finding books, is kind of looking it up like that versus looking at lists? Or because sometimes I'll go online and it's like the bestsellers list, or it's like books you should read in 2019. Like, are there pros and cons to looking up those kind of things, or is it just kind of best to kind of like what would you recommend for people trying to find books to read that they want to read?
So my viewpoint real quick is, you know how you absolutely love Rotten Tomatoes?
Yeah.
I feel like New York's best time and lists like that is Rotten Tomatoes of Book World. Because you have pompous people sitting there going, you should read this book. But why? They're probably getting benefit from it.
Getting kickbacks?
Oh, totally. For sure. Or they see that it's such a good developing book with people liking it. Like Harry Potter. That's an easy one. People are like, oh my god, you must read Harry Potter. For me, I like going into Goodreads. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. My mug is gigantic, so I'm not nearly as fancy as I should be. This is a strain. Do you see that? I'm like, Sorry, continue.
I love my BB-8 mug.
It's massive.
It says that it can't go in the dishwasher. Fucking thing goes in the dishwasher every day.
So you're poisoning me is what you're doing.
No, I thought that just takes the coloring off.
If it's not dishwasher safe, you could be taking the glaze off and I'm slowly dying.
Oh, well, then I'm dying.
It's been a good life.
Because I think all of them say that.
Oh my god. No, you're such a rebel.
So, but what I do is I go on Goodreads and I'll go through the 2018, 2017, whatever year it is, and see like what the best ones are and check the covers and then the reviews.
So you feel Goodreads is like a good solid choice to go
reviews
and find something.
There are probably my favorites. So for example, my friend Maxim Martineau just wrote Kingdom of Exiles. It is an incredible book. And the storyline and everything is just something that's not done yet.
Yeah.
So I have a huge feeling that she's going to get picked up for like a movie or something, because it's just
something you've never read before.
Correct.
Something
it's
new.
Like Assassin's Creed meets Fantastic Beasts.
Interesting.
Very, very good. But first thing that I do is I'll be at Barnes & Noble. I see a cover. I like the cover. I pick up the book. I take a picture of it with my Goodreads app. Right when the thing pops up, I go review. Okay, so it's at a 3.6 with how many reviews? If it says more than like 300, I'm like, no, not a good book. So I always check.
Do you feel like it's accurate from the ones that you've picked up?
Oh yeah.
Have you ever risked it in getting something that's a little bit lower, and then find out you're like, you know what, this actually is really good, or they're right, this is shit?
Yes, and I follow a couple of people that review very often. So there's a lot of people that go into Goodreads and are very serious on their reviews. Okay. Like, they're this long.
Okay.
And they go in depth with how they felt and how the writing worked and da-da-da. And I'm
very
like,
helpful for you.
Very helpful, because I go, I can see that. I read like that. Yes, I'm going to read this book.
Okay.
That would be interesting to me. But the other aspect of that is sometimes the books that are reviewed higher may have more reviews and just doesn't work with me in general. So that brings me to Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda. So
now before you, because she just finished it.
I just finished it.
So can you give us a review when you were halfway through? Like, just because we talked about it in a couple episodes ago, but I want to be like, where were you at halfway through the book? And where are you at now?
So I think with halfway through the book, I was very irritated.
Triggered.
In the sense of so I was listening to it in audio. I wanted to read it for Pride, and Pride Month, everybody was talking about this book. Yeah. And it's also a movie, Love, Simon. I've never watched the movie. I didn't know what it was about. So again, if you watch the other Paperback Mountain, I gloat about Will Grayson. Yeah. One of my favorite.
Which sounded more tempting to me, like when you were explaining that.
So
I was like,
good.
Okay, that sounds really interesting.
So good. I absolutely love that book. I finished it in 3 days, only because I had adulting things to do, but I was like in love with this book. So I was like, all right. So maybe I had too much of high expectation that it would be similar to Will Grayson.
Yeah.
That I went in there, and it's written well. The kid speaks very well. Becky, who wrote it, is very, very much an excellent author. I just couldn't attach myself to the main character. The guy who was reading it, I couldn't attach myself to the voice. I was like finding myself going, all right, let's go. Like, come on. Like,
no, it's just because he was reading slowly?
Or
just how he was acting the words?
So it might have been like a combination of him reading super slow so that it was articulate, because I think that's how the character was supposed to be portrayed.
Okay.
But at the same time, I was like, okay, I get that this is daunting for you. Maybe because he was in high school and like, oh my God, this is such a hard thing to do. Should I come out? I'm going to go try. So essentially what he's doing is, the book itself is about a young boy who realizes he's gay, starts talking, and I don't know how this happened, but maybe I missed it. He starts talking to this other kid that is in his school, and he doesn't know who he is.
Okay.
And that kid doesn't know who he is.
Via text?
Via email.
Okay.
So they create these fake profiles, and they start talking to one another, and they start like relying on one another, like, this is what happened in my day, and they want to, like, he's even asked him, like, let's meet, like, I think I'm ready. This other person sees him writing these emails and then starts blackmailing him, like, hey, do these things for me, and I won't out you.
I won't say anything.
Yeah. And then other things happen. Obviously, he gets outed, so it's not a big deal, and then you start finding out, like, that's where it started shifting, where I was like, all right, so now I don't care that he's going to be outed, because he's already outed. His family took really well to the whole situation.
So halfway through the book, you weren't really feeling it, but once you got past that little like hump there, you're like, okay, this is changing differently.
All of a sudden, I wanted to know who the emailer was.
Okay,
that's all I wanted to know.
Okay,
who is he
kind
emailing?
Of, Gossip Girl-ish.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm like, who is he emailing? I don't even care. I need to get through this book because I want to know, is it this person? So I thought it was somebody.
Something sparked where you're like, okay, I'm invested in this now.
Yep. Now I'm intrigued. I want to know. I thought it was this other guy who was blackmailing him. Turns out it wasn't. He thought so too for a split second. So I'm like, oh, this is going to be so cliche. I knew this was going to happen. And then it shifts.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden I'm like, I was wrong. Okay, who is it? And finally it goes, and then I found out on Audible book, or Audible.
Yes, what made this?
So I'm needing to figure out, so one, I'm like not super in love with this book, but I'm super invested to find out who the emailer is.
Yes.
So I'm like, how can I get this through faster? And I found this feature on Audible that you can speed up the person's voice. So I was listening to it at 1.75 to almost 2 times faster.
She realized that you can kind of fast forward in audio.
He was speaking real fast, but I finished it, and I wanted to message you because I shamed the book so much, because I was like, this thing is garbage, blah blah blah, the last Paperback Mountain. But I wanted to message you and be like, I just teared up because through this whole book at the end.
At times 2 speed.
At times 2 speed, I was tearing up because I could connect to him. He met the person. Mm-hmm. It was so like romantic. And then that's where all of a sudden she had this amazing writing of the relationship and like even just them holding hands, how she described it. I was like, all right.
This is what I wanted the entire book.
This is the entire book. Yeah. And then I was like, well, now I kind of want to read a different one of hers and I can't.
Do you feel that maybe the reason why it was so impactful and how it was towards the end of the book is because what you had to go through at the beginning? Like, would it be different if she had you writing like that the entire time, or was it more meaningful because it was at that point, like when they got together and everything else?
It was more meaningful because I finally got over that hump. We got through some other stuff because then once he was outed, people were being rude and like saying things about him being gay, and then you get through that, and then all of a sudden you find out who the person is.
You get to the guts of the story.
Yeah, and then you're like, and then there's only 2 chapters or 3 chapters of this.
Of that,
and then it's over.
So, okay. So then official review now. Since it's done, it's over. You've made a connection. You cried over this book. What's your official review stance on it?
I would say that I would give it a good solid, like overall, it was probably like a 4 out of 5.
Okay. It's like out of 10.
No. 4 out of 5. Usually they do out of 5.
Okay. They didn't know that. They
audio,
100.
Audio, it's not that the guy had a bad voice. It was just that I couldn't keep up with like him in general. Like, so I'd probably do like a 3.5. And then the writing style, actually, the way that she had it, I'd keep it at a 4. So,
would you still recommend people to read it? Would you say, hey, if you're feeling like how I did, stick through it, finish the book?
I would say if you are a teenager, read the book.
Okay.
If you are somebody who loves coming of age and coming out books, read the book. If you're somebody that does not like anything that is going to be, because people are like this, they don't like younger characters. They don't like people in high school because they're so much older and they can't connect.
Yeah.
Don't read it. And if you are looking for something that's going to be, like for me, I think the reason why I liked it so much is because I invested right at the end, and also I felt like I've always wanted a relationship like that.
Yeah.
During those times that, like, just even the small, like, things that he was doing with him, like holding his hand or their first kiss or whatever it was.
You wanted that magical moment when you were that
The way that she wrote it, that was fabulous. So if you like that and you're an author and you want to pick from her writing style because it was well done, read the ending of the book.
Just the last 3 chapters.
That's my review.
Well, I think I'm excited that we got a paperback Mountain redemption, essentially. Yes. Is what happened. It's like we got halfway through the book. You're like, I don't even know if I want to finish it. I'm so upset about it. And then you're like, oh, good God, the last 3 chapters were amazing. So I'm glad we got our first paperback revenge. Well, not revenge.
Not revenge.
What's it called? What did I just say?
Redemption.
So this will be our first official paperback redemption.
Yeah.